66 million years ago, Earth was a different world. A world ruled by giants. From the dense, humid forests to the vast open plains, dinosaurs thrived. The ground trembled under the mighty footsteps of Tyrannosaurus rex, the undisputed king, its roar echoing for miles. Herds of Triceratops, with their formidable horns and bony frills, browsed peacefully on lush ferns, while colossal long-necked sauropods reached for the canopies of ancient trees. Pterosaurs soared through the skies, masters of the air, and strange, powerful creatures patrolled the oceans. Life was abundant, diverse, and seemingly eternal. For over 150 million years, these magnificent animals had dominated every corner of the planet. They had adapted, evolved, and conquered. It was their age, their kingdom. But in the cold, silent darkness of space, something was coming. An ancient traveler, born from the chaos of the early solar system, was on a collision course with destiny. Unseen and unstoppable, it was about to bring the age of dinosaurs to a sudden, violent, and spectacular end. Imagine a mountain, 10 kilometers wide, hurtling through space at an astonishing speed, 20 kilometers per second. This was the reality of the asteroid that sealed the dinosaurs' fate. A colossal rock, larger than Mount Everest, composed of stone and metal, on a direct path to Earth. As it entered our atmosphere, it would have been a terrifying sight. A blazing fireball, brighter than 1,000 suns, streaking across the prehistoric sky. The dinosaurs below, oblivious to the impending doom, would have had no warning. For them, it was just another day. But in those final moments, the sky itself would have turned into a harbinger of destruction. The asteroid slammed into a shallow sea, right where the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico lies today. The energy released was almost unimaginable, equivalent to billions of atomic bombs exploding at once. The impact was so powerful it literally vaporized the asteroid and a huge chunk of Earth's crust, creating a crater over 180 kilometers wide and 20 kilometers deep. In that single, blinding flash, the world changed forever. The reign of the dinosaurs was over. The instant the asteroid struck, the planet was rocked by an event of apocalyptic scale. The impact sent a shockwave of unimaginable force rippling across the globe. This wasn't just an earthquake, it was a planet-shattering jolt, triggering earthquakes 1,000 times more powerful than any we've ever recorded. Mountains would have crumbled, and the very ground would have liquefied. Almost simultaneously, the intense heat from the impact, thousands of degrees Celsius, ignited global wildfires. Forests hundreds, even thousands of kilometers away from the impact site burst into flames, turning lush landscapes into seas of fire. Any creature caught in the open would have been incinerated instantly. But the destruction didn't stop there. The impact in the shallow sea displaced a colossal amount of water, generating megatsunamis. These were not waves, they were moving walls of water, hundreds of meters high, racing across the oceans at the speed of a jet. They crashed into coastlines with devastating force, sweeping miles inland, wiping out everything in their path. It was a world consumed by fire, water, and shaking earth. For any living thing, there was nowhere to hide. As the immediate chaos of earthquakes and tsunamis began to subside, a new, more insidious threat emerged. The force of the impact had ejected trillions of tons of pulverized rock, dust, and sulfur into the atmosphere. This immense cloud of debris spread rapidly, wrapping the entire planet in a thick, dark shroud. It was joined by soot and ash from the global wildfires, creating an impenetrable barrier that blocked out the sun. Day turned into an endless, twilight night. Sunlight, the very source of energy for life on Earth, could no longer reach the surface. With the sun's warmth gone, global temperatures plummeted. The planet was plunged into a deep freeze, a phenomenon scientists call an impact winter. Freezing conditions would have persisted for years, possibly even decades. On top of this, the impact likely triggered massive and prolonged volcanic eruptions in a region known as the Deccan Traps in modern-day India. These eruptions spewed even more dust, ash, and climate-altering gases into the already choked atmosphere, compounding the cooling effect and making the world even more inhospitable. The vibrant, warm world of the dinosaurs was now a cold, dark, and dying planet. With the sun blotted out from the sky, the foundation of life on Earth collapsed. Photosynthesis, the process plants use to convert sunlight into energy, ground to a halt. The lush vegetation that had fed the dinosaur kingdom, the ferns, the cycads, the flowering plants, began to wither and die. First to feel the effects were the herbivores. The giant plant eaters like Triceratops and the long-necked sauropods suddenly found their food supply gone. Vast herds that once roamed the plains now faced mass starvation. We can imagine the desperate search for any remaining scrap of food in a barren, frozen landscape. As the herbivores died off in catastrophic numbers, the food chain continued to unravel. The carnivores, the fearsome predators like Tyrannosaurus rex, were next. With their prey gone, they too were doomed. A T-Rex, a creature that needed to consume huge amounts of meat to survive, would have found itself in a world empty of food. The hunters became the hunted, not by other predators, but by starvation itself. Every level of the ecosystem, from the smallest organisms in the soil to the mightiest giants on land, was systematically dismantled. It was a silent, slow, and agonizing end, brought on by the simple absence of light. The Great Dying was not instantaneous, but in geological terms, it was a blink of an eye. The combination of the immediate impact effects, the global winter, and the collapse of the food chain resulted in one of the most severe mass extinctions in our planet's history. It's estimated that around 75% of all species on Earth were wiped out. In the oceans, vital plankton disappeared, and with them, the giant marine reptiles like the mosasaurs. On land, the devastation was total. All non-avian dinosaurs, from the smallest raptors to the largest sauropods, vanished from the face of the Earth, ending their 150 million year reign. But extinction is not just about endings, it's also about beginnings. Amidst the devastation, some creatures survived. Small, shrew-like mammals, who had lived in the shadow of the dinosaurs, managed to endure. They were adaptable, could burrow to escape the worst of the conditions, and could survive on insects, roots, and the scraps left behind. With the dinosaurs gone, the world was open for new rulers. These small survivors were our ancestors. The extinction of the dinosaurs was the crucial event that cleared the path for the rise of mammals, and ultimately, for the evolution of humanity. The end of their world was the beginning of ours. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey back in time, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from our planet's incredible history.